Welcome to Mishna study Masechet Sanhedrin Perek Bet Mishnah Aleph. Over here in this perek, we're going to speak about laws regarding the Kohen Gadol and the laws of a king. Right? Those are going to be the two focuses of our perek over here. So Kohen Gadol dan v'daninoto. Right? He could judge and we judge him. Me'idu me'idinoto. He could be a witness and we me'idinoto. We could testify against him. Holetz v'chodsin le'ishto. Right? By the way, Harabam points out, he says he's me'id. Right, he could be a witness, not any type of witnessing, right? Something that's unique to a king based on his status. And what does Mishnah say? Choletz v'choltzin le'ishto, right? He could do halitza. Again, if someone his brother died without any kids, right? And now the wife is there, right? He doesn't want to marry the wife. He could do halitza v'choltzin le'ishto. Not just if he doesn't want to, he's not supposed to marry the wife. We'll see in a minute. V'choltzin le'ishto. Right, and then one of his brothers could do halitza to his wife, if the Kohen Gadol wise. Right, you could do yibum to his wife. Right, let's say he died without any kids, then his brother is allowed to do yibum and marry the Kohen Gadol's widow. He's not allowed to marry his brother's widow, right? His brother's wife, because he's not allowed to marry an almanah. He's not allowed to marry a widow, right? Pasuk in the Torah. Met lo met, right? Let's say one of his relatives died. Now, usually, there's laws when you're allowed to go ahead and be mitameh lamet. Even a regular kohen's allowed to bury his mother or father. Kohen Gadol, no. He doesn't even go after the coffin. He doesn't walk, right behind it, because we don't want him to become tameh. Right, the people who are walking with the coffin, they go walk into a street, an alley, and then he can only pop out. He goes, he could travel that far behind them until they reach the entrance of the city, right? And then he has to stop. He can't continue on, right, to the cemetery. They would usually bury outside the city. That's going to be Meir. He doesn't leave the Bet HaMikdash. And the pasuk says he can't exit, he can't leave the Bet HaMikdash. And now the Mishnah continues. Keshu Menachem. I should point out over here, Rambam actually had this as the next Mishnah, but we're going to include it over here as most of the others included as part of this Mishnah Aleph. Keshu Menachem et Achadim. When the Kohen Gadol comes to console others, right? He comes to console someone who lost a relative. Everyone, when they would line up and they would pass one in front of the next, right, to console the mourner. The memune, right, the skan, right, his assistant, would be in between beno lebena'am, between the him and the people, right? Again, we don't want him to come too close to the mourner. When he gets consoled from others, everyone comes and say, "We are your atonement." And he says, "May you be blessed from heaven." By the way, what does Harambam points out? What does he say when he comes to console someone? He says, "Tinuhamu," right? Like we say today, "Tinahamu nashamayim." When you give him the first meal, right, the sudat havra'ah, that the mourner eats his first meal. He's not supposed to prepare his own first meal. They're supposed to give him a suda. The first meal. Everyone sits on the ground near him. He sits a little bit above on a small bench. Halacha is not like the Biudah that we said earlier, rather like the Rabbi Meir.